everyone, and welcome to this webinar. We're going to start off with front-end development first, and then I'll hand you over to FJ with back-end development. My name is Oliver Dipple. I'm the team leader for the online course, and I work with Shabana, who is the program manager for campus and online. So front-end is really about constructing, designing, planning, building web interfaces. So we're at the interface between code and humanity, psychology. We do this by focusing on fundamentals like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then we build upon these with frameworks and libraries like React and Bootstrap. User psychology, experience, and interaction is a big part of our role as front-end developers, which is a unique aspect of this field. And we also concentrate on creating designs that work on any kind of device, so any kind of screen shape or size that must flex and respond to the device. There are two options for types of location for this program. We have campus and we have online. We have 3 active campuses, Oslo, Bergen, and Kristiansand. And online, we offer 2 different paces, full-time over 2 years, part-time over 4 years. There is 1 intake every August for the campus course, and we have 4 intakes online in January, March, August, and October. Full-time is really dedicated to students who can put full-time into their studies, and the work week needs to go in. It can be balanced with part-time and family duty, but we generally recommend that you keep that time available. Whereas part-time works much better for students who are already engaged in full-time work and need to fit this in around their work life. It's also good for students who might want to be studying and traveling or working with an irregular schedule. In terms of our program structure, we split into 4 semesters, and the first 2 semesters are really focused on the core fundamentals. So the UI design process, the first coding in HTML and CSS, experiences with Git and VS Code, for example. We then go through some planning methodologies. Sorry. And in the second semester, we start with the first scripting. So JavaScript scripting. We have a collaborative exercise where the students will work together to build a product in Agency 1. And then a portfolio to show off the work from that year. We then move on to the third semester, where we go a little bit deeper on the JavaScript. We also introduce some frameworks and libraries such as Bootstrap and Tailwind. In semester 4, we look at technical writing. We look at React, which is really the culmination of all of the previous semesters. And we finish off with a second collaborative exercise, building a real-world product together in a group. On campus, the approach to studies is really based around practical exercises. So lots of builds, lots of demo apps, getting your hands dirty and working with the code itself. That's the crucial thing. If you're on campus, you can expect from your day a mix of a lecture, some guided study time, and then on Mondays you have a dedicated self-study day. So let's take a look at the schedule here. This is an example schedule for campus. You have that Monday blocked off for self-study, your own independent research, and then the remainder of the week is split between lectures in the classroom and guidance time with a teacher. Online is a little bit different. We still have these same focuses, so we still touch on theory and guidance and practical exercises. But the emphasis is much more around self-study and you using your time effectively. A typical day online involves a mixture of watching pre-recorded videos, self-structured study time, working through the lesson content and the attached tasks, as well as chatting with teachers online using Teams. We have interactive workshop sessions where you can bring your questions to the teachers live. We also work on a large number of projects as well. And there's a lot of student discussion and questions to be asked and answered in the channels. In terms of industry involvement, we're very proud to work with the Norwegian tech industry, and this means that we're able to provide guest lectures, industry visits like a sort of school trip, as well as professional mentoring from people in the industry, internship projects, and even job placements and permanent job roles as a conclusion to this course. Although there are no specific prerequisites, we do expect that there's some degree of IT skill as a baseline. It really helps. It's not a requirement, but it does help get them started quickly. And obviously an interest in any kind of design. It doesn't have to be web design, but the principles of design are very helpful, and any previous experience with coding is not expected, but it is very helpful. Okay, that is me over. So I'm going to hand over to FJ, and then we'll be available for questions afterwards. Thank you for listening.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Oliver, for the introduction there on the front-end side. So we're moving over to the back-end side. For back-end, I am the program manager and one of the teachers as well for the program. We also have full-time and part-time for the online students, which works more or less the same as on the front-end side, where full-time has 1 year or 2 years if it's a 2-year program, and part-time has 2 years and 4 years if it's the 1 or the 2-year program. Each course in our program is graded on a pass-fail basis, except for the semester projects and the exam projects, which is graded A to F. Our first semester for back-end year 1, we start off with programming foundations. In this course, we look at JavaScript and how you can use JavaScript in back-end. We do go through the fundamentals. This course is designed for students that has no coding experience and for students that has coding experience. Then we move over to a little bit of the front end, where we look at the front end and DOM. We introduce Git as well. Not as in-depth as the front end program, but just to get you guys a little bit of information on the front end side. After that, we move over to programming with objects, where we go further with JavaScript, and we introduce JSON objects and object-oriented programming. As a developer, you're probably going to work in a team at some stage. So we go through a little bit of project methodology, where we introduce some team working skills that you guys can work with in Jira and project management applications. At the end of the semester, we have a semester project that will incorporate all these programs for that. Semester 2, we start off with Node.js. We introduce now the backend side of it, where we start with JavaScript servers, where we will run our first server with Node.js on our local machines. As a developer, as a backend developer, you'll probably want to expose some data or make data available to the world. And then in the databases course, we introduce databases where we look at MySQL, which is a relational database, and we also look at non-relational databases such as MongoDB. The course after that, REST API, here we put the two previous courses together, where we use JavaScript servers and we attach the databases to a REST API interface where we can expose our data to a front end, for instance. From there, we show you guys how to deploy your server to the web, to the World Wide Web, so that you can access it online. And then at the end of backend year 1, we have an exam project which incorporates all the previously discussed courses into one project that you guys can do. Backend year 2, this is more focused towards .NET and C#. We start off with some cloud services where we look at Azure and Google Cloud Platform. We implement services in Azure. We also look at databases here, but now the databases are in the cloud with Azure. This is more towards MySQL and Oracle type databases. We also look at data warehousing, where other word is big data, where we've got one big database with a lot of data that we can put in there and running reports and graphical interfaces to get information from this data. At the end of this semester, we again have our semester project, which will incorporate all these programs. And then we go over to information security. As a developer, we are very aware of security. So we look at GDPR and how we can protect our data that we have in the backend. Then we go a little bit into JavaScript in practice, which incorporates a little bit more advanced functions in JavaScript and techniques, and we introduce some data structures in JavaScript. Then we head over to the .NET side of it, backend technologies, where we use C#, .NET and .NET Core. We look at some Blazor front ends to create an API for our backend too. After that, we look at front ends again, not as in depth as in the front end program, but in this one, we look at React as well, where we can create components and connect it to our API server. At the end of this year, we do a project which will incorporate all these courses that we've learned into one big project, which is graded A2F as well. A little bit about the learning. So as each day that you start up, you will access the learning platform, which is Moodle that we use. In the learning platform, you'll get access to all your course content. And in this platform, there's also extra informational videos and solution videos based on tasks that you do throughout the course. Communication between the teachers and students is on Microsoft Teams. In Microsoft Teams, there you'll have your own class channel where you can ask questions, have chats. Teachers are there as well. They can help you and answer some questions in the class channel. You also have access to the teachers individually, where you can actually direct message them if you don't want to ask a question or if you need some help on a personal level with the content. Is work expectancy. At the end of this first year and second year program, you should be able to land a job as a junior developer, either for JavaScript or for .NET and in C#. We also have industry partners that we also partner up with to see if we can help with placements and internships. Is this for me? So a lot of times you get the question, am I a backend developer? So if you're a logical thinker, if you're someone who likes to solve problems, and if you like information technology that's ever changing, like to stay current, then I would say this is for you. It's a hands-on program, lots of tasks, lots of interaction with the teachers, a lot of thinking, a lot of problem solving, and a lot of, hey, I got it moments, you know. So if that's you, then this program could be for you. Thank you, guys. I think there's time for questions now.
Okay, the first question that's come in is, how is the job market for front-end and back-end developers? So we can answer, I think, each there. In terms of front-end, I think that the sort of proliferation of React has meant that there's almost like a universal language for front-end, and it's become much more realistic for small and medium companies to ask for software tools that they previously wouldn't necessarily be able to access. So I think that the world of front-end development is opening up a new type of market, especially as these tools become sort of more powerful and more readily available. But as we know, in places like San Francisco in the US, there have been some downturns, and there have been some retrenchments in that side. So we keep an eye on the global market trends to try and figure out where this is going. But that is quite a challenging task to sort of make a definitive statement about the whole world. FJ, what's your approach to this?
Well, from your side and the front end side is you talk to my back end. So if front end is relevant today, back end is a lot relevant as well. If you think about it, job market wise, every day there's new apps, every day there's new new websites going up, every day there's new applications going up. They normally talk to a backend. They normally talk to that backend to get data. So it's really relevant in today's world where most of applications actually move over to cloud-based solutions, and you need the backend for that.
Thank you. Next question who is the front-end program best suited for? And same question with the back-end program. So I think you did touch on that a little bit, FJ, but
Yes,
I maybe can clarify a little bit for front end. So I think that front end is a very visual thing. A lot of it is about fonts and colors and layout and spacing, how things look and feel, especially the feeling. When you're using an application, if it sort of causes you irritation, that's a suggestion that it's not been designed, the front end hasn't been designed very well. So the sort of person who's going to do really well in this course is someone who's got a fine eye for detail, someone who likes tweaking things, you know, sitting with the same thing and making it perfect over a longer period of time. There's also a certain requirement to be able to rapidly iterate, which means to start something, to give a good try, and then to start the same process again and get it better on the second time and maybe even a third time. So if you are someone who is who enjoys sort of repeating a task and stepping forward each time you repeat it, that's something that also helps with front end. There is a certain crossover. So there are some aspects that FJ mentioned about back end that also apply. But generally speaking, we're using less kind of mathematics. We're more about geometry than we are sort of hard mathematics. So I think that typically someone who is more visual, design oriented, they're going to tend towards the front end side. And if you're more sort of process oriented, you will gravitate towards back end.
Yeah, I agree with you, Oliver. The visual side is the front end, back end side. Terminal, seeing, and then the front end guys come and they slap on that nice UI, and then you're like, whoa, that's really cool. So it is like that. Back end, as I said, it's more about a problem solving type of thing. We have a problem. We need to, for the front end or the application needs some information. How can we get that information over to them? Which is really, it's nice to have that problem, to get the skill to kind of solve it and to logically think to solve that problem. Next question, how is a typical week on the programs like? How often are there assignments? I'm going to start on my side because I think it's different per program. On our side, we have per course, there's an assignment. Now, the courses doesn't always run in 3 and 4 and 5 weeks, so that differs. Some courses are 2 weeks long, and then you'll have an assignment at the end of that course. So the answer is, at the end of each course, there's one assignment. I'm not sure if it's how it works on your side on front end. I think it's probably the same.
Yeah, it is quite similar. We do have lesson tasks which are happening every day, but those are smaller and those are ungraded. So the teachers aren't marking those. That's just for your own practice. So yeah, we have the same sort of arrangement. Each course finishes off with a course assignment. That's where we're checking your core competencies. So we're asking the question, have you consumed this information in the correct way? Can you show the skills that we've taught in this course? And if so, you continue on with the course as planned. And then there are exams, which FJ mentioned are lesser grades, A to F. In terms of a typical week, I will just mention the module structure. So each week you will be working on a different module. Generally, that module will have a theme, and there will be 4 lessons in the module for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, effectively mirroring the campus delivery model. So if you're on campus, you have the 4 lessons from Tuesday onwards. If you're online, you have 4 lessons to complete, but there's no one to tell you which day you should complete them. So if you wanted to start on Monday, that's not a problem. But you have your 4 days and you have the Friday for implementing your work. So if you have a project, you will need to read through the modules and then take some time to apply that knowledge to the project.
Just on the back-end side, we start from Monday to Thursday. And Friday is a self-study day where there's a task that you can complete on your own. Again, not graded, and that's for yourself. If there's any questions, teachers are available that you can ask and can help with that.
Okay, the next question is about teaching language. Both the online programs are certainly taught in English. So the content is provided in English. The teachers are mostly English speaking. We do on front end, we do have, front end online. We have 2 staff members who do speak Norwegian. They sit in Norway, so we are able to offer that, but we generally don't approach the tuition in online studies with anything other than English.
Next question, what sort of jobs can you do after this education? From a backend side, you can start as a junior backend developer. If you did the 1-year course, then that's for JavaScript. And if you did the 2-year course, it will be more towards .NET and C#. We do, as I said, we do a little bit of, we do front end as well, not as in-depth as the front end course. So maybe you can start as a junior full stack, but preferably it's a junior backend developer for backend.
Yeah, very similar answer from our side in the sense that the key role we're preparing you for is a junior front-end development position, but there are other things that you could go into sort of from an angle. So for example, testing, quality assurance and testing on the front end, you would be equipped to start as a junior in that field. We also cover project management and working in agile teams. It's not a management-focused study, but it does help you to fit into that first team environment. And I think one thing to mention as well is that if you complete both of these courses, the front-end 2-year program and the back-end 2-year program, you will then be well equipped to be entering as a junior full-stack developer. Full-stack developer being someone who's able to handle all aspects of the life cycle. I think I'll just mention one more thing since we've got a bit of time. Other job opportunities include like the gaming industry. So front-end has quite a strong connection to gaming because all games have a user interface, and the principles involved with creating a user interface for a video game are very similar to a web application. So that's something that often excites people. But I think that's all of our questions. So thank you very much for attending and listening to what we have to say, and I hope to see you soon on the program.
Yes, thank you guys. If there's any questions that you guys think of afterwards, please email me. I can respond to your questions then. Thanks for attending and have a great day further.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.